Hey guys, welcome to 5 Minutes in the Word, your daily devotional from Truett Baptist Church. I'm Brother Dennis, and I'm so glad you're joining us today. Today we're going to be continuing going through our Gospel Project Daily Devotional Journal, and today we're looking at Section 2, Day 1, where we're going to be looking at Genesis chapter 1, verses 25 through 26. So let's jump right into the text, and then we'll get to the study. It says in verse 26, Then God said, Let us make man in our image, after our likeness, and let them have dominion over the fish of the sea, and over the birds of the heavens, and over the livestock, and over all the earth, and over every creeping thing that creeps on the earth. So God created man in His own image. In the image of God He created him. Male and female He created them. And God blessed them, and God said to them, Be fruitful and multiply and fill the earth and subdue it, and have dominion over the fish of the sea, and over the birds of the heavens, and over every living thing that moves on the earth. Now, as we look at this verse, as we look at this passage, there's a couple of things we need to understand that's going on here. First off, God is speaking once again to the Jews about how He created them. And in this text, we find this change to this formula that we find in Genesis chapter 1. There's a formula that we've discovered in Genesis chapter 1 to this point. First, a part of that formula is the fact that God is creating things and then He's filling those things. He's bringing order to the chaos, and then He's filling that order with something. So we looked at last week how God created the heavens, and then God created the sun, moon, and stars on day 1 and day 4. And then on day 2 and day 5, He created the air, the atmosphere, and then He created the waters, and so He created the birds, and He created the fish. And then on day 4 and day 6, God created the dry land, and He created all of the livestock to fill it. But now God is doing something special. God is stepping out of that formula, and He's doing something that He hasn't done before. He's creating something in His own image. Theologians use a term called imago Dei, which means in the image of God. God is creating something distinct, something special. And that's important for us to know, because when God creates mankind, He is creating something different. Naturalism and humanism look at man as just another animal, a noble ape, as one atheist once said. But as we look at the Bible is teaching us that God has created us special. He's given us a purpose, and that purpose is to be the imago Dei, the image bearers of God, the reflectors of God and His glory into the world around us. And so our purpose, our reason for being, is to be that imago Dei, that reflection of God. Secondly, unlike all of the other creation, God gives us a very particular purpose, a particular job in those next few verses that really reflects God's own creative order. Now track with me here. We said last week on Wednesday that God created everything, and in created everything, He created order to the chaos, and then He filled that order with something. Well, that is exactly what God tells man to do. The way that they are to reflect His glory is by reflecting His creative work throughout the world. He's created this world. He's filled this world with animals and plants that are wild, and they're the things that He's created. And He tells man a couple of things. First off, He says to man that they are to have dominion over all of the created order, that they are to bring into dominion, to have authority over all of creation, to bring order to the chaos. Just as God took the chaos of creation and created order, God gave to man the duty of creating order to the chaos. But then He also gave him the second part of that formula. He called man to fill that chaos with God worshipers. as the image bearers of God, we are to be glorifying God. The word glorify means to reflect glory from ourselves to God. That is why we are created. In fact, the Westminster Shorter Confession of Faith, Shorter Catechism says that the chief end of man is to glorify God and enjoy Him forever. And we are created to glorify God. So as we fill the earth with our progeny, as Adam and Eve had children, they were filling the earth with little God worshipers who would reflect the glory of God. Now we know that sin has changed that, but it has not so changed it that is not still our purpose, because our purpose today as Christians is the same as the purpose of that first man and woman. Though the method has changed, and it is evolved, it does not take away God's purpose for us. We are called to bring order to the chaos. Sin has created chaos into this world. And as Christians, we are called to be the imago Dei by bringing order to the chaos, bringing people back to God where they can be rightly ordered to the way that He created them and for the purposes that He created Him. And then we are also to fill the world with God worshipers. Just as Adam and Eve were to have children to fill the world with God worshipers, you and I are to have children. And we are to raise those children to worship God. But then also, we are to have spiritual children as we go out and share the gospel with others and encourage others to follow after God, to follow hard after God. And so, while a lot has changed since that first man and first woman, the purpose that God created us for, to bring order to the chaos, and to fill the world with God worshipers, has not changed. So I want to challenge you today to think through, how can I make God worshipers in my life? How can I lead others, both my children and those around me, to faith in God and help bring order to their chaos? God bless you and have a great day.